Hey, hello. If you're new here, my name is Rain. If you're not new here, welcome back. I really appreciate you stopping on by to my little corner of the internet. As per usual, my brother's dog is breathing like he can move mountains, and my dog decided to smack her lips like an NPC, almost on a perfectly timed schedule. I will do my best to edit them out. But what we're actually doing in today's video, let's get my hands in frame so it's interesting. We are going to be going through all of my scientific illustrations. 2.5-ish months back, I posted a video titled Botanical Illustrations, blah, 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 and like Lobaria pulmonaria. That's what I was drawing. And that was the start of my project for lichenology, where I had to do 10 lichen drawings because I chose to do art. I could have went outside and collected 20 different distinct lichen species, but that sounded painful on my body, and art is much more my passion. Then last week I put up my video, Botanical Illustrations, Equisteum talmatia. This is going to be such a delayed video with how I'm talking. We're doing great though. And I said that I would be going through all of my other scientific illustrations, showing you guys how my project turned out overall. And I thought it would be fun to bring up my first ever scientific illustrations, all of which are in my sketchbook number 5. I took scientific illustration as my second semester in college. So I was 17 at the start of the course, and I turned 18 partway through it because my birthday's right around in the middle of a semester. So I figured, why not go through these tabs where I did all my practices and stuff and really just kind of show where I started. So the drawings that you guys have seen finished on my channel include this one of Lobaria and this one of Equisteum. I don't actually like this one. I think I didn't do a particularly good job on it, and that I could have done it a lot better. And I discussed all of that in my last video, so I'm not going to go into it again. I have darkened the background since to see if it proved it, but this is where I'm at. This one's pretty good, this one's pretty bad. I actually love a lot of my lichen illustrations, so this is where I am. Let's go back to the absolute chaos that was me starting to take art a bit more seriously. So I started drawing again when I was like 15 and a half-ish, and I started taking it seriously as something I might actually want to continue doing and take more seriously when I started college. Seriously, as a hobby, this is when I started thinking about making a YouTube channel and things like that. So let's see here. I think it's in frame pretty solid. Did I pull my camera back enough? I did not. Let me lift you guys up a touch. There we go. So you can now see my mic cords and my mic a bit. That's unfortunate. But I was in my character design passion phase. And by that I mean, this is where I started realizing that I, 1, love drawing fictional characters, 2, really like drawing people, 3, want to go into character illustration. So you are going to be seeing some really, really bad Phaeton and Crollo fan art in the side panels. Oops, hit you guys, sorry. In the side panels. But my first scientific illustration project was to draw a skull, and we were given skulls to pick from. I believe we were able to go find them outside if we wanted to. I wasn't interested in skull hunting, and just chose this one. I don't even know what it is. Couldn't tell you, but I do know that the critiques were that I was relying too heavily on my blender nub. And looking back at it, definitely agree. Could use a lot more hatching in these areas for my definition as opposed to just smudging my graphite around, right? Would have been better for smooth transitions. So this was a tonal sketch of a skull. That was it. Definitely, I think I restarted the sketch like 4 or 5 times, trying to get it to actually fit on the page. I was having such a hard time drafting it out. And with that, I started, I guess, sampling for my next project on this page. That teacher always Wow, having a mic that's not connected to my outfit actually is really difficult. I wouldn't have thought it. But this teacher always makes us do some sort of color worksheet to basically get us better at color theory, mixing colors. I still can't mix colors. I've done her classes probably 8 times and I still have no idea what I'm doing, but I did these. They're a thing. And I think that's subsequent to how I started planning my botanical drawing assignment, where I picked Forget-Me-Not. I don't know what these are here for, but they're there. And let's see. Okay. This is the final composition of this project, generally speaking. I had my photos at this point. I knew what I wanted. And I actually like this sketch more than the finished product. I think that I'm a lot more comfortable in black and white than mixing colors with real paint. It's not something that I have a lot of skill in. I'm really not great at mixing colors. Let's try and get poor Phaeton off the screen more. Poor soul. I'm not good at mixing colors, and I definitely didn't have the confidence in it at the time, and so I was very confused. And I'm still confused, but at least now I could have fumbled it a little bit better than I did. Back then, though, this was definitely the superior result for this project. And so, oddly enough, we're going to skip to here where this drawing is, but I have another one on the back side for some reason. I don't know why I did that. Past me was unpredictable. But this was my finished Forget-Me-Not drawing. This was pickup from the page next to it, but totally off with the colors. About as far off as you could be. And I think my strongest point is the bud hairs on. Wow, that doesn't sound good with the way I pronounce things. But the hairs on the bud of the unbloomed Forget-Me-Not, I think that's about the only thing I did particularly well. So my first ever time really taking drawing flowers seriously. I was actually really proud of it at the time, though. I was really proud that I actually managed to draw flowers in the first place. So that's a win. And then my next project, I believe my final project actually, was this bird. So this is my first go at my bird composition. I spent a lot of time finding birds online, finding birds that I liked, ones that I particularly was interested in. I am not a bird person, so I was very naive to how I wanted to approach figuring out what birds looked like, and very, very naive to figuring out how to even find fun-looking birds. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't even know what type of bird this is. I did at the time because I found it by scientific name, but I have forgotten since then. That was a very long time ago. So let's see. This was my initial composition sketch for this bird. He's not bad. Considering I don't think I have actually taken drawing a bird seriously since this project, this is still a pretty good bird. I don't even know that I could do much better in terms of this initial sketch. And when it comes down to the final illustration, so initial sketch, this was after critique. She told me where I could really improve with this bird in terms of composition and stuff like that. And I think that this is a lot better. The bird has a lot nicer of a focus. I brought out the blues some more. I think that this is pretty good for me. Even today, I'm not sure how I would approach drawing a bird. They're definitely not something I'm super comfortable with. I don't even have a lot of experience drawing feathers on like human characters with wings, which is something I actually do. So I'm not mad at it, even though I'm like 4 years older now. Well, just turning 18. Yeah, 3 years older, not really 3.5. So it's not bad. I don't hate it. It's pretty solid, you know. It's a solid bird. So let's see how I've improved. So if you would like to see the rest of my bad fan art, petition for sketchbook tour number 5. Well, sketchbook tour number, 3, but of sketchbook 5. Whatever it would be. Petition to see it in the comments. Other than that, I'm gonna probably go in chronological order. So, I think I've done scientific illustration a couple of times since then in homework settings for botany classes, but I don't think I've actually had to do a proper illustration project where it was the actual thing I was being graded on since I took scientific illustration as a course. So now that we are here and I can properly go through these. Oh, microphone, please don't cast a shadow on my art, please. Thank you. So I love thinking inanimate objects. That totally doesn't make me sound stupid at all. But so this is where I'm at with Lobaria pulmonaria. I don't think anyone cares. I'm gonna be honest, I've been doing science for all of these years and nobody cares how you pronounce anything. So I'm actually really happy with how this one turned out. It's one of my favorites of the actual lichen drawing series I had to do. My primary critique from my teacher was to put information on the back. So, I don't remember if I had this last time. I probably didn't, but just little stuff like the range, the substrate, habitat, notable features, and for some of them I did little goofy doodles of Lobaria buddies. So, honestly, I'm really happy with this one still. It's definitely one of my nicer attempts at scientific art. So, Equistium is just like my fall from grace. It's my first time drawing something that isn't a lichen in a long time. I've drawn flowers for projects, so I'll try and remember to put up my drawing right here of consumption of illness or something like that. I will also put the title somewhere up here because I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I draw flowers for things, but I haven't had to sit down and properly think about non-lichen structures, I guess would be the best way of articulating this. So I talk about it enough in my last video, and there's definitely a lot more interesting stuff here, like my Cladonia chlorophae, this is an improvement, guys, compared to this guy. I mean, Cladonia is a really, really small lichen. I'm talking tiny. I had to take my own macro photographs and it was a nightmare. I'm actually really proud of the photograph I got that I took this reference from. So yeah, it's really small, but it's really cute. These are a lot of pixie cup lichens. So if you've ever seen a pixie cup lichen, it probably looked basically like this. So substrates, I did do a little goofy doodle for this one as well. They're cute. I love them. So I also managed to find this Cladonia on my property where I did Cladonia orchiclora, maybe, something like that. Definitely not the definitely not the most cool of the Cladonias. It doesn't really have cups the same way a lot of other Cladonias do. Not that anyone listening to this cares. They're here for the art, not me not understanding. But I'm honestly, on the sheet, I think I'm most happy with this little one right here. I think it looks really nice. I'm very happy with it. So, super cute. Lotharia columbiana. This is wolf lichen. So, one thing that science drawings don't always do justice for, if you do the black and white stuff that I prefer to do, is that this plant is like neon yellow. This plant is super, super vibrant in color. And it's beautiful. But trying to catch the light tone of it in ink while also having distinguishing areas was definitely a challenge, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But also, overlapping structures like this absolutely suck. It's definitely really fun, and I definitely took a little bit more of an abstract approach so that it wouldn't look horrible if lines didn't pop up the same way or come out the correct end when they dip behind things and come back out somewhere else, like right here. This one technically loops under this branch right here. Kind of hard to tell. Let me bring you guys closer. But you can kind of like get away with how like this one is like kind of dipping behind this bar right here. So this one is technically like looping up and behind. So I took a more abstract and playful approach so that things not lining up perfectly would make more sense. I didn't keep any of my lines straight, which admittedly is easy for me just because lichens are very textured. So lichens do have a lot of leeway for carelessness, I guess. With carelessness maybe isn't the right word, but like a looseness to your hand. So that was something that was very beneficial for me. Hypogymnia imshagii. Hypogymnia in imshagii. This thing is everywhere. Every time I would pick up a hypogymnia, I'd be like, oh, it's a new hypogymnia. It looks nothing like the last one. Pop it open, it's imshagii. This lichen shapeshifts, I swear. I don't know what's up with this thing, but it was a nightmare. And it's super hard to tell what's happening, but at the same time, it's just like looking at a hypogymnia, honestly. I should have gotten lichen samples and like brought them inside. I would have gotten gross stuff all over my art desk, actually. That would have been a bad idea. But the thing about hypogymnia and imshagii, the thing about this buddy is it's snow white on the inside. So you crack open its arm and it's white all the way around, then it's this one. It's this one. It can't be any other one. It's going to be this one. It's like the definitive single factor to it. So I saw this guy everywhere. I did choose a kind of more chaotic and intense looking version. Just because this felt it had a lot of character. I don't know. When you're drawing a lot of things that are just overlapping shapes, it gets a lot more fun and a lot more exciting to get to pull in these harsh blacks and areas where you get to add this intensity to it. And I don't know, I think that this is one of my favorites. I know it's definitely not like the highest quality of the crew in terms of actual like visual intrigue, but at the same time, this is just so right for me. I don't know, I'm really happy with this one. So Parmelia sulcata. I hate Parmelia. I'm gonna be honest. I drew this guy real tiny on the page comparison-wise. So, this guy has a lot of little textured ridges right here. These are reproductive propagules that are like powdery, and they're a pain. So, didn't texture it, but I did do a little bit of a close-up just for fun. I totally had like 1,000 inches more space. Not actually, obviously, but I definitely could have drawn it bigger. I was not having a fun time. Parmelia sulcata is not nice to me. I had the hardest time keying it out. And ultimately, it wasn't my favorite of the crew. But I think it definitely turned out better than I originally thought it did. I think I thought this one was the weakest of the crew originally. I don't know if I still feel that way. And so, I think... yeah, I don't think it's my weakest of the crew. Vulpicida canadensis. I don't know the common names of any of these, by the way, except for pixie cup lichens. That's why we're going with what I had to put for school. Oh, I forgot I was supposed to be showing you guys the fact sheets. I don't think you guys missed any drawings. Oh, you did? No, I'm sorry. Wait. We're going back to Cladonia, Orca Chlora, just so that you can see the little guys I made. Aren't they adorable? They look like little Studio Ghibli worms. I think they're adorable and I really like them. Can't believe I forgot about them. But, you know, this was a while ago. I was working on these for a long time, guys. So, wow, why do people have to drive past my house so loud? Yeah. Okay, those are for my doodles. I don't have to worry about those anymore. This lichen is also super vibrant in color, which is something that's kind of sad that gets kind of left out. This thing, like my actual picture of it, it was like a lemon yellow. So I took almost all of my own photos for this project. Very few of it I actually checked online for better photos. And when I did, it was for these types of things where I just wasn't getting the close-ups that I needed super clearly. So this is my own personal close-up. These are supposed to be, I didn't do a wonderful job, 3D-ish. So these are actually bumps on the tips of each end. You cannot see it macro. Like, you can't see it without a the zoom lens. Zoom lens kind of works. What am I thinking of? Microscope. I'm so tired. Can you tell it's finals week, guys? But you can't see these dots without a microscope. So I do feel like it kind of went a little bit unclear in the final illustration just because I'm zooming into something you can't even begin to think that you're gonna see, and it felt a little bit off and a little out of touch, because what I want to do when I make drawings like this is I want to bring access of information to people. I want this to be something consumable so that people can feel enticed and engaged in some sort of plant related information. So, and I mean, I think that was really ultimately the beauty of this project, because it actually forced me to sit down with these plants in my area, right, and think about them and care about them and think about how I'm going to illustrate them, which is something that I think I really want to do a lot more of with things that don't matter as much, right? I think I want to really this summer work on doing maybe not as dedicated drawings as these. These don't take me a long time to do, but something that allows me to go out and really sit with nature and try and think about its forms and add that value to my work artistically. I think that this really made me have to care more than I otherwise would have, which helps with the educational process. I'm really glad I chose the art route as opposed to the collection route. I'm so tired, guys. Can you tell? Oh yeah. Distinctive species because it's literally bright yellow. So, very fun in color. I highly recommend looking it up. This is the one that I think is actually my least favorite of the crew. So, Evernia prunostri sulcata. There we go. So, when it actually comes down to it, and I'm looking at these two side by side, I do think that while I liked this one more originally when I was working on the project, I think that this one is maybe a little bit more visually interesting, but I do have a hard time telling which of these two I authentically enjoy more. I don't know, but I'm leaning more towards sulcata. This one has like no visually interesting microscopic features, so I just left it out, and it kind of feels like it doesn't belong because of that. It feels very out of touch with the rest of the kind of series that I worked on. So ultimately, Evernia, kind of bland, not a particularly fun color to lichen. Still very interesting to learn about though, so no problems. My pronunciation, my professor pronounces it Usnia, but I like to say Usnia. I'm going to go back and forth. But when it comes down to Usnia, I really liked this one because I was taking this as an online course at a university outside of my state. So this was a course I took at Oregon State remotely. When I told my teacher I found this, she didn't actually completely believe me because she didn't know it existed down here. And I was super stoked to show her and be like, we have loads of this stuff. And she was super excited. So the real reason I actually did my Usnea Intermedia was because she didn't even think I had this down here. And so I really wanted to commemorate how excited I was to get to show her something fun for my area. And so the reason this is so interesting is you likely know Usnea from Old Man's Beard and people being like, just drink it, pick it up off the ground, put it in your tea and drink it. But these things right here are asci. So these are like actual fruiting bodies for sexual reproduction. So it's performing sexual reproduction, which is wild. So the asci are super, super interesting. And yeah, so super exciting to have one that forms asci as opposed to, did I get them mixed up on sexual versus asexual? I might have, honestly. I'm so out of it. But usually Usnea produces Ceridia instead of asci. So it was cool. It was super cool. And these are huge compared to the actual like thin lichen hair thing threads. I don't know, lichen body. Because like this lichen's like usually like really big, honestly. When I have it on my property, it's like dry, matted, and it's like 7 inches, not kind of like growing in its natural place. This is my third contender for least favorite of the Karoo, because this is Peltigera Kalina. This is just a really dark lichen, and I don't think I did it justice. This is all supposed to be, like, if it was colored, a dark brown, and I don't know if I actually created enough depth on the paper itself for it to read as something deeper. Like, this is the underside of the lichen. It's hard to tell, but lichens are very folded, right? They will not lie flat. They're a pain. They suck. And so these are all areas, right, where this is like coming up. So this is this edge, and it's peeling up and showing the underside as this lip kind of merges this way. This is something peeling up and then a layer running under it. It's everywhere. And I just don't feel like I did it complete and total justice at the end of the day, which is something that's not super, super fun. So I don't know. I'm just really conflicted on where I stand overall with my Peltigera drawing. And I don't really know where I want to go with scientific drawing from here now that I've kind of finished this project. I know I just did my horsetail drawing. Let me put my sketchbook down, go back through the stack. You'd think that I would have like thought through enough to leave these guys late. I don't have enough desk space to lay these out. So this is my most recent one. I'm not a fan. I've said that. I've gone over it a lot. And so I'm not sure completely where I want to go directionally, but I do want to continue doing like educational kind of art drawings like this that can be treated like little coloring sheets or just cute little prints or things like that. They feel nice to hold. That's one thing that I really am firm about with my traditional art, is that it's really nice to have art that I don't need to print to hold. It's like a tangible product immediately. I have this now. This exists. This is like a permanent marker of my work and my progression as an artist thus far. And that's something that I find deeply satisfying, you know? It's like trading cards. And I want to print my digital art sometime and have like physical copies of it and all that stuff. However, I equally kind of feel like I just have so much enjoyment and pleasure that I get from having the physical originals of things. And I think I want to keep making stuff like this where they're just cute little postcard sized drawings. But I'm also thinking that maybe the next course of action for me is to do more work like this cute sketch I did of my like plant elf person concept that I've been working on. Can I lay down my sketchbook, please? And so I'm thinking maybe instead of doing these individually in black and white like this, I should take this kind of habitual observation practice to creating people who are entire ecosystems. So hiccups are painful. What? Okay. But I'm thinking eco people, right? Like, what if instead of isolating them one by one like this, I instead take pictures of particular little areas and all of their plant life and incorporate them into one individual character design where I have to observe the physical area that I have captured in that photograph and kind of have right there in front of me. And that is my basis of what I get to observe and incorporate into the drawing itself, right? And I feel like that might be a better way of creating intrigue and forcing myself to incorporate stuff like this that are not lichens into drawings in a way where I can feel a little bit less restricted by my telling myself that this is a scientific illustration. And I do still want to do these, but I just don't know how interesting they are to other people. Like, I don't know if other people enjoy little things like this quite as much as I do, because I'm a huge botany person, and I say that not to say that like plants aren't interesting, but not everybody like has old textbooks from the 60s and 70s that are full of drawings like this simply because they like to look at it. And I don't know how big that demographic is and how interesting it is. Especially because this is just two sides of my one kind of universe, right? Like, I am a soul entity. And these are two very different styles that I love equally. So I think it makes more sense for me to incorporate this into what it is that I like to share the most and do the most. Love them equally, but I enjoy doing character illustrations the most. And I think the best way to do that would be to find them, get a picture, and then force myself to execute. These would be adorable little goofy earrings or something like that. Or a fun little choker. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. But having to kind of take these elements and put them onto a character, I think will, one, be a great creative challenge for me, and two, which is slightly more important, it'll help me to kind of push the boundaries of my creative freedom to limit myself to something that forces me to be more thoughtful about what I'm doing. I don't know if that made sense. I think I worded that maybe a little bit too goofy. I'm not entirely sure. So, I don't know. I'm definitely super interested in what you guys think about that as a concept, or if you guys are interested in watching me do that. If you guys have any environments you particularly want me to like get a picture of. I definitely can't do everything because I can't go to the places per se, but I can definitely find pictures online, or even on I can go on iNaturalist and get pictures of plants and stuff. But I guess what I'm trying to say is more plant people, more happiness in life, right? Like that's the translated version of this entire rant, I think. And so at the end of the day, I'm very, very excited to see where all of this kind of creativity gets to go in the near future. And I also really want to know what you guys think about scientific drawings and sketches, these sketches that you saw today, all of these kind of concepts that I brought up. I know it's been kind of rough on my channel the past couple of weeks. I haven't been quite as available time-wise for illustrations and really sitting down and doing particularly like intense stuff with my content. I am graduating on Saturday, as I mentioned, and so ultimately I will be very much more available pretty soon. I'm starting my MFA on the 26th, 28th, something like that, and that will really open me up artistically to having a lot more time to spend on art in particular. And I'm currently unclear. I'm not 100% on when I will put out my video on typography and that kind of class experience that I had overall and things like that. I want to draw something on my channel that's a little bit more lighthearted than the stuff that's been coming out of me recently. I definitely know that with my college having all of these strikes, I've definitely been a little bit less fun, I think, in terms of the art that I've been creating. I felt a lot less artistically free, perhaps, would be a better way of articulating it. It's hard to feel creative when you know that people in your circle, whether it be, interpersonally or people who are in college like you, are being put into unideal situations or dangerous situations, be it intentionally or unintentionally. So I've been kind of dreary recently, and I definitely want to kind of bring some fun back to my art. Sorry, apparently I'm not really good at talking and sketching at the same time. I thought I had an idea whilst I was talking, and I clearly should have pulled up a reference or just done this after I finished. But I've definitely been a bit dreary recently, so I'm hoping to bring back some of the pizzazz and some of the fun. We're coming up pretty soon on my channel's 1-year anniversary as well, and so with that, I'm super, super excited to do something. I'm not sure what. Maybe I'll like redo my first video altogether or something like that. Something that feels creative and dorky. I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. The sooner I know, the more effectively I can be planned for that. So, I don't know. Yeah. Sorry. Side tangent that I wanted to bring up in this video before the end, which this is totally not what anyone who clicked on this video signed up for. But Hades 2 came out early access on Monday, I believe. And it is so good. It is gorgeous. And the character designs are excellent. And I am so beyond stupid stoked to draw absolute metric fuck tons of chaos and hypnos fan art. It's all I want to do with my life now. And I haven't looked at chaos a whole lot yet. I just know that I saw chaos and I was like, they are my new god. I love them. And trying to draw them from memory right now is clearly not going well. But I'm going to have proper references when I actually draw fan art of them with intention. Actually get the slope of their face right, considering I tend to actually draw more sharp noses. So I think Chaos's nose is curved, and that's why I did it like that. But yeah, I have to figure it out. I'm super excited though. I hope that if you guys are interested in playing Hades 2, you get to. If you're waiting for it to come out off of early access, that's super chill too. I get it. I have been waiting for Hades 2 since the announcement at the 2022 Game Awards. Is that what Steam does? Yeah, whatever it was. When the game's trailer got announced, I screamed. My brother could testify. I was so beyond excited that I was losing it. Super stoked, and so for it to be out on early access, I bought it instantly. Maybe not the best financial decision as a college student, but my brother and I have both been enjoying it so much. I'm calling it a graduation gift to myself. So, there's that. But seriously, because this is my channel and I can rant as long as I want, and you guys can literally just turn me off whenever you guys are tired of listening to me, I just really wanted to say, like, Hades 2 is great. I'm gonna probably be making fan art on my channel for it because I'm super, super excited and I'm in love and it's beautiful. And I would love to see anything that you guys make or hear about your favorite characters down below. Like, I'm stupid excited. So, with that, I think that this has been enough of my rambling, because you guys know me. I can ramble forever. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like if you like, dislike if you dislike. If you'd be interested in seeing more of my work, experiencing more of my personality, seeing Hades fan art, my typography video, my channel anniversary that's coming up. I have so many videos to plan. What? Oh my gosh. Then yeah, subscribe if you're interested in any of that. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, wherever you are. And I guess that's it. So, bye-bye.